Hello everyone and welcome back to Integration Ninjas. In today's video, we are going to dive into the exciting world of continuous integration and continuous deployment using the power of GitLab CI. Specifically, we will be deploying a Node.js application to an AWS EC2 instance. I will walk you through the entire process from setting up your GitLab CI pipeline to building your application with Docker, publishing it to Docker Hub, and finally deploying it on a EC2 instance. Okay, so we'll start by creating two separate jobs in our GitLab CI pipeline, build and another will be deploy stage, which will have the two jobs, build and deploy job. The build job will package our Node.js application into a Docker image and will push it to Docker Hub. Then we will configure a EC2 runner to handle the deploy job, ensuring the application is seamlessly deployed to our AWS EC2 instance. There we are going to use the pulling the Docker image, then we will run it there as a Docker container. Okay, so whether you are a beginner or an experienced developer, this tutorial will provide you the perfect knowledge and tools to automate your deployments and improve your workflow. Alright, so let's move to the hands-on and let's see the application. Okay, so this is the basic Node.js application which is giving some dummy result. We have some mock data, so let's run it locally and see how it goes. Let's run this application. Okay, so the application is running here. So I will just click on this URL and it will give us some dummy dummy details, the name, last name, all these details. So that's what we are going to deploy. Okay, so for that we need to write a Docker file first. Okay, so let's write the Docker file. So what we are going to use is a base image for our Docker image, like okay, base image for a Docker image. So that will be the node because we need to run the npm commands there. So I'm going to use the node 20 alpine something image. So alpine will be little lightweight. Okay, and then we are going to set the working directory inside the Docker container as the work directory /app. Then we are going to run this command, copy package.json from the dot slash. So this command will copy the package.json files from your local machine to the current working directory /app. Okay, in the Docker container. It will have all those dependencies. So once this is done, we are going to run the npm install. So this command will run the npm install, and inside the container which will have all those dependencies that is listed in the package.json here, like all those dependencies. And like then we are going to copy all those contents from the source directory to the destination directory from the local to Docker container. Then we are going to expose a port that from the Docker container, that 5000 we are going to expose, and we are going to run the command that npm run start. All right, so this is the command that we are going to use. This is a simple Docker file. Okay, and now what we need to do, we need to write a CICD file. For that we need to write a file with .gitlab-ci.yml, and there we are going to define two stages. Actually, one will be the build and another will be the deploy. Okay, so one will be the build, another will be the deploy. And we need to define the stages as jobs also, like we'll create a job, build job, which will be linked to the build job, and another will be the deploy job, which will be linked to the deploy stage actually. So this will be running in the sequential order. First build will be executed, then the deploy will be executed. Okay, so here we are going to use runner which is provided by GitLab. Even if we don't specify the runner, it will pick up the available runners from the projects from the GitLab side. So if we go to the settings and then CICD, and if we click on the runners here, so it will by default pick up any of the available runner, even if we don't define any tag as runner. So it will pick up any of this job, and for this deploy job we are going to use the runner that we will create on the AWS EC2. Okay, so let's give it name something. This is the name, and then let's write for the stage job what we are going to do. For the stage job, actually build job, actually what we are going to use is we are going to run the command. So this way, like we run a multi-line script here in the GitLab, and here like this we can just echo that we are building the application, and here then we are going to log into the Docker Hub because we need to build and publish the image to the Docker Hub. So here we can just log in, like username and password $docker login -u-p-u, and then the username. So the username we have stored in the GitLab CI/CD variables. Okay, so these are my username and the password, and okay, so -p and then the $docker password. All right, this is the way we log in. So the creating the variables are like very easy. You can delete it like this, and then you can just create a new one here. So visibility, we can just select the mask, so it will have the more security. It will not be printed in the logs. You can just remove the project variables for the now, because it's enabled only on the protected branches. We have not enabled any settings, and we can just need to the key as the like what will the name of the key and the value. Okay, so we can add this variable, so the variable will be added. This is the way like you can create the GitLab CI/CD variables. So we have access these variables like here, and then we are going to build the application $docker build -t, and then the name of the username of the Docker Hub, that is simply integration ninjas. Then the repository name, I have created already a repository which is integration ninjas, then Node.js app. So this is not the correct one, actually I will just refer this one only, integration ninjas Node.js app. We'll just copy the exact name here, and Node.js -app, this one. Okay, so that's it. And also, yeah, we can just give a tag also, like the latest commit that we can access via $CI commit _sha. Okay, then we can do docker and then push and this thing. That's it. We are going to push the same image that we have built. All right, now, but the problem is like when we run the Docker image, like the GitLab runner will pick up the job and it will try to use the Docker command, but the Docker will not be installed because they are going to use the by default the Docker image of Ruby. So inside the Ruby image, like instead of that we need a Docker image. So for that we need to use some settings. So if we go to the use Docker to build Docker images, so this is the way like to run Docker commands in the CI/CD. You must configure GitLab runner to support Docker commands. So for that we can just use this way. We can just use image and the services docker dind docker and docker, and just add it before the default script. All right, that's it. And then we are going to use the deploy job. Now we need to configure a EC2 runner. So we go to the EC2 dashboard here and click on the launch instance. Then let's create a runner, like name as Node.js app. Okay, and we are going to use the Ubuntu image, and we are going to use the same image here, the image on AMI machine, and we are going to use the key pair so we can log in into the AWS SSH with SSH from any like putty or terminal. You can do that, and let's click on the launch instances. Let's click on this and let's open this. And first of all, we are going to expose inbound rules in the security groups. Okay, so here let's click on the edit inbound rules and let's add a rule, custom TCP, and I'm going to expose the port 5000. You can expose any other port as well, and we'll access it from anywhere, and we'll just save the rules. And now once this is completed, I will just go to the instance again. I want to like install Docker in my EC2 runner. So for that, I will just log in into the terminal like from the browser only. You can do via SSH, or you can log in. You can directly like you can do by terminal, or you can log in by the putty also if you are using Windows. So that you can do. But I'm just using the browser console only. This is the coolest way actually, like if you want to just do some smaller work, otherwise better to use the terminal or putty. Okay, now I'll just use this command to install Docker actually. This is nothing, just it will install the Docker and it will start give the sufficient permission to the Docker and will start this, nothing else. And after that we need to install the GitLab runner here. So for that we need to go to the settings section again here, and we need to expand the runner section here, and let's click on the new project runner, and we'll just name it as EC2 runner, EC2-runner, and let's create a runner. And since we are using the Linux one, so we need to follow some steps. So we need to install the download the GitLab runner first. So the architecture is same actually, AMD 64. Okay, so we are going to use this here. We need to download this. Okay, so this is downloaded, and now what we need to do is, okay, this is not required now. I will share the details in the YouTube description so you can refer all these commands in the reference pages here. And what we can do here is, now we need to register the runner. So download is completed, we need to register. So this is the authentication token. This will be displayed for the shorter time, so we can register it and it will be saved in the configuration.toml. Okay, so let's run this. This is stored in the, okay, we need to give a name EC2-runner, and we need to select the executor, so we'll just select shell. Okay, so these details are saved. Now we need to start the GitLab runner. So here if we see, this is the command, but there are multiple ways, so we'll just use this, and we'll start with command okay, so for that we need to log in it as a root user, and I'll just GitLab runner and then start. Okay, so this is started already, and let's see. Okay, so let's commit this details here, but before that, before commit, like actually we need to write the logic to pull the image and run it as a Docker container. Okay, so for that we are going to write a script here, script section. there is like multiple ways like how we write the scripts here. Like you can do a multi-line script like this as well, but I prefer using multi-line script like this. And now we need to pull the Docker image. This image we are going to pull. Okay, and then we will just run this image docker run -d-p. We are going to expose this port. We have opened this port from the EC2, and we are going, and from the Docker we have exposed this. So this is the way. And then we will just name it our Docker container like this as Node.js -app container, and we'll use this image. And once this is completed, suppose like this will work for the, if the container already exists, we can just remove it and then we can continue docker rm-f node.js app container. If it is already exist, we can just remove and we can just relaunch the new one. Okay, so that looks good to me. And now let's deploy this, and we can add one more condition if you want. Like if you want to know that we can trigger it only on the specific branches also, like I can give it as name as deploy to EC2, so you can add main branch or any other branch. Okay, so let's do this. Git add dot and then this git commit -m deploy to AWS git push. And let's see like what happens now. If there's an issue, we'll try to resolve that out. I know like there will be some issue will come on the GitLab runner, so we'll see that. Let's go to the pipelines. Okay, so the syntax is correct, and we can see the two jobs, the two stages are there, build and deploy stage are there. One will be one by one. So in the build we have build job, in the deploy we have deploy job. So build job we can open and see it's using the Docker executor with image docker 24.05. That's fine. Okay, so let's wait for this to be completed. It will not take that much time, it will just complete it right now. This is succeeded, so we can see like Docker file has been created successfully and it will be published to the Docker hub, so we can verify it. Node.js app, and we can see a few seconds ago the image has been published. And let's go back and to the pipelines and running section and the deploy job. Actually this job is stuck because one of the following problems: there are no active runners online, no runners or protected branch. Okay, so let's see the issue. View runners. So we can see like the runner is available but it is not active. So what we can do is we can just restart and see if it will work or not. So let's see now that runner is available or not. Otherwise we can just create a new one also. Maybe there's some misconfiguration happened. I think let's try once again. Status service is running, but let's give a permissions. Actually there are like certain permissions that we need to give, and then also we can observe that this one and the restart GitLab runner.service. and then again we will just restart the runner. So once this runner will be active, like there is no issue actually, only the problem is like to restart the runner. If we have something misconfiguration, this will give us this error. So what we can do, like we will just try to remove this runner and we'll create a new runner actually. I just remove this and we'll just create a new one with the same name, EC2 runner. And let's create a new runner here again, and this time also we need to have this token. The token, this name is correct, and we'll just give a name as EC2 runner. Let's copy it from exactly the same name from this EC2 runner. This is the one we have copied, not this one exactly. Let me just remove this EC2-runner and enter an executor that will be shell. That's it, and the configuration is saved. And this time let's see here. Okay, this time we have registered a new runner. That time the issue was there only, the runner was not configured successfully. This time we can see it's up and running. It should be in the green symbol. It should not be that one. Okay, now we'll just start this. I will show you one more problem. If we will re-trigger, there will be one more problem actually. I will show that. So this is the one problem here. So the runner got picked up and the job got executed, but we seen there is some issue. The using shell executor, the job preparation exit code 1. So this is like a issue in the Amazon, the free tier image they are using. So we need to, I have found this solution actually. They're like shell executor GitLab runner Ubuntu this image. So we need to remove all this GitLab existing runner configuration, because like AWS also uses this. So we can see the actually solution here. The Ansible scripts we use to configure or build system AWS, simply switching the script from an Ubuntu, like they have this, we need to remove this. So let's remove and see if the everything is working as expected or not. I'll just re-trigger now, and everything should be working as expected now. Let's see. Okay, the deploy job, okay, it's not been started yet. So let's wait for a second. Yeah, this is started now, and this is, we can see the Docker info here, and we can see the no such container, but it is started. It is the Docker container ID. So our application is started on the Docker Hub. So the application is started on Docker container and it's available on the AWS EC2. So how we'll be able to see the URLs? So let's copy the public IP4 address here, and let's click on here, and we give the port name here, and then we need to provide the URL. So the URL is the rest/get all users. So if we try to access this, we will be able to see the response here actually, right? So there will be certain issues. So probably like I have to add all this information that you need to provide in while setting up the GitLab runner. Make sure like while registering the runner, you see that message that the runner is created successfully. Otherwise you will see up that runner is misconfigured, something issue. So that's all, like how you can deploy your like Node.js application into AWS EC2 by using the GitLab CI. By following this tutorial, you have learned like how to set up a robust CICD pipeline that automates the entire process, right? So this we see like automates the entire process. If we see the pipeline, we can add multiple more steps like test and the linting and the other stages, integration test, other stages. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more tech tutorials and insights. Feel free to leave any questions or comments down below. I would love to hear from you and help you out if you found any issue you might be facing. Thanks for watching and happy coding.